Don't miss Good American Family.
We have a little girl here for adoption.
She has dwarfism.
Starring Ellen Pompeo and Mark Duplass.
Something is off.
She's just a little girl. You think she's faking?
She has adult teeth. There are signs of puberty.
Inspired by the shocking stories that tore a family apart.
I don't know what's going on.
How old are you?
You should get a lawyer.
You have no idea how those people hurt this girl.
The Hulu original series, Good American Family, premieres March 19th, streaming on Hulu.
Here's what I know is true. Most weight loss plans are one size fits all. So frustrating. They don't take into account each person's individual needs, which could mean dietary restrictions, medical issues, or other personal needs. That's why you're going to love Noom. It's built for your psychology and your biology, meeting you where you are. Noom's personalized programs feel more sustainable than any other, more restrictive weight loss programs. And also, it doesn't shame you when you choose to treat yourself, and that's important. I like this company because it's got a psychology and biology-based approach and a super easy app to use with lots of great features, including daily lessons, coaching, and flexibility. I think it's your time to start. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit Noom.com for more information.
The amazing Kate Casey.
Welcome back for another episode of Reality Life with Kate Casey. I hope that you had a great weekend. And I got to tell you, I've got a great episode at this beginning part of your week. Back with me is Brian Moylan. And I always have the best time talking to Brian because we have been covering these shows for like a decade plus. And we love to dissect their personalities and what happens on and off screen. So in this episode, we ended up talking a lot about strategy. And I think that if you are someone who's watched these shows for a long time, I don't know, even probably people that just watch it that are new to the show are interested in how the cast members maneuver. We're all in agreement. It takes a certain kind of person to want to be a Real Housewife. And I love it. Brian always calls The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills a show about rich women doing things. And each city represents a different type of person. And the industry in which they all live or dominates the city has a lot to do with how they communicate with one another, how they carry themselves through life, the lens through which they look at life. And Beverly Hills continues to captivate people, I think, because their lives are so dissimilar to any of us. We're always interested in the movie making business and the TV making business and their close proximity to the people that work there, that have been in TV and film, I think is part of the reason that they capture so much of our attention. And then if you've been watching for so many years, you want to watch the way someone evolves. So for example, like in Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Kyle's life is always interesting because she's worked in the business for so long. And then, of course, you see for Dorit and PK, whether or not their marriage is coming to an end and what are the fights that they're having off screen. It's all just so interesting. Now, on Summer House, you have Paige, but on Southern Charm, you have Craig. And they've been in a relationship for 3 years and they just broke up. So it's interesting to watch both of those shows because their life story is told through their lens, their narrative on the respective shows that they're on. So it's kind of fun to have two people in the same network dating, then break up, and to see how they both perceive that breakup through their shows. So a lot to unpack in the shows this week. And Brian and I, again, love to talk strategy. I hope that you listened to my What to Watch list yesterday because there's a couple things that you're going to absolutely want to watch, including the documentary on ID Discovery and Max about the Karen Reed trial. So if you love true crime, you're going to love that one. And then there's another one called The Twister Caught in the Storm. It is produced by an award-winning British documentary production company called Raw. And they made Tinder, Swindler, and 3 Identical Strangers. And that's one you've got to watch. But I wanted to bring that up because if you have not seen, I'm sure a lot of you have watched the Tinder Swindler, but 3 Identical Strangers came out years ago, and it is absolutely one that you will want to watch. If you like any of those documentary, like thriller type documentaries, that's definitely one to watch. So make sure you check out the What to Watch list. I've got some great episodes this week. I've got one coming up with Amy Phillips. We talk about the Dateline interview that Keith Morrison did with Lori Vallow. And I also have a really good Saturday series guest coming up. I hope that you listened to the last Saturday series episode with Allie about the parasocial nightmare. Definitely one to share as well. But nevertheless, as mentioned, back with me in this episode is Brian Moylan. Buckle up. This is a good one. And as you will note at the end of the episode, we come up with this plan to go to Charleston. So if you live there and you know where to go and what to do, we may be looking for your resources. Here's my interview with Brian. Brian, top of the morning to you. Happy St. Patrick's Day, my friend.
You too, to all of our Irish ancestors. May they rest in power.
Rest in power. By the way, when you were in DC, like, would you celebrate St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah, I celebrate St. Patrick's Day. I mean, when I was a kid, my mother would send us all to school with green carnations, like pinned on our shirts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So like a little bit. I had lunch today. I had Guinness cake, delicious. You know,
sounds disgusting, but okay. Yeah.
It was actually very good. Just a nod to my people. A nod. Say, thank you.
Tip of the visor.
Yeah, I don't know that I own anything green to wear.
Yeah, I don't really. I don't really enjoy the color green on myself. That's because I'm so pale. No. I'm with you. But when I was in college at Trinity, our college bar was the Irish Times, and on St. Patrick's Day,
of course.
There is a line down the street. So we would go early and stay the entire day. Bad. Yeah, we were there.
When I was in, right after college, I lived in a house at 13th and S Street before it was nice.
Yes,
way before
that was
it was
like back
nice.
in the day, right?
Yeah. And so we lived in this big townhouse, and then there was like a garage in the back that had been converted into more like apartments. So there was like 7 or 8 of us living in this house. And we used to throw for St. Patrick's Day a green underwear party. And if you wanted a cup for the keg, you had to show that you were wearing green underwear.
Green underwear. Wow. Do you think they still do that?
I mean, let's hope. We got kicked out of the house a couple years later. And I swear to God, the note from the landlord said, I don't think our house is compatible with your rock and roll lifestyle.
Rock and roll lifestyle. Well, so when I was in school, there was this very old woman that would allow Trinity girls to rent her home on Ordway Street in like the nice area of DC, just for the summer. But it was like a chic shack, like it was falling apart. But she had been the girlfriend of like one of the Gershwin brothers. So she had like, the original sheet music like in the piano. And my one friend Maura dated a guy who was in the military. He was in the army. So he would bring his army friends over, and we would be drinking and like playing that old piano, and like we probably got beer all over the original song sheet. Like, we're horrible people.
We're kids, and we did
kids
a
just
lot.
do dumb stuff. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh my God, absolute dumb stuff. We were watching something recently, and Christian, it was like on one of the reality shows. It was like someone on Summer House doing something stupid. And Christian was like, oh yeah, I did that. I can't believe I'm alive. And I was like, yes, same. There are so many of those I can't believe I'm still alive stories.
Yeah, but you're right. That's what I think people really like about Summer House is it brings you back to those dumb days where you didn't really have a lot of responsibility. So you could go to work, and then you could go to someone's house on the weekend and just be dumb. That's why it's a little bit of a buzzkill when you've got someone who's pregnant, because it's like, no. We want to go and pretend that we are still in those moments where we didn't have to pay for children or mortgages, taxes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, and that's why I love the Summer House kids, because they do horrible things, not because they're monsters. They're just young and kind of stupid. And like we all did, as opposed to some of the Housewives where it's like Jen Shaw's like a monster, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But West is just some dumb guy who got a little too famous, you know? But speaking of which,
tell me.
I got a DM.
Give it.
From West.
Love. Go on.
And my heart like went aflutter. And
well, is he going to replace Kyle? Because you have long had like a love for him.
I don't think anyone can replace Kyle. And I don't know if you saw the last episode, but when Kyle was in that white tank top on the beach talking to Craig or to Paige, I was like, oh my God. Yeah. the basement was flooded. I mean, it was something else. But so I got a DM from Wes, and it was a text from his mom, and his mom had sent him my recap with a paragraph I wrote about Wes. And he just said, my mom's a big fan.
Oh, you know, I will always have a soft spot in my heart for West because his mom is a very important OBGYN. And he is always in awe of women and their capacity to have a child. And for that, I always salute him. Although I've been concerned, not just because he's like too obsessed with fame, but also his mustache is far too long. Like it has to be trimmed. Can you speak to him about that as the leader of the mustache brigade?
I will say, listen, the American Mustache Committee has gotten together and you are breaching the guidelines.
Yes.
And we will send you a trimming guide free of cost.
Yes.
So that you can get your mustache right. But I do love them. I mean, like West is like my ideal man. Like that's like the kind of man I want.
Yeah, I love his sense of humor too. What do you think about Jesse? Are you still into him? Or is the fact that he is seemingly just using this girl for hot hookups, are we all right with that?
This is just like young people being young and dumb. Like she's been very forthcoming about what she needs, which I think is great. And I think that she should say all that. But he's also being very forthcoming with, I don't know that I can do that, girl, but I'm going to try. Yeah. And so I feel like a bust up is coming. And I don't really think it's anyone's fault necessarily. Yeah. It's just like not in the cards. Because what I love about her is she said she would rather regret having done something than not doing something. So she explores like every connection
Perfect
she
reality
has.
Star. Perfect.
Right. And I think that's great when you're 26 and stupid, you know? But at our age, we've had enough entanglements to know that that's not always best work for you. Yep. And right, especially if you're jealous and maybe a little bit possessive and, you know, you need a certain level of commitment from somebody. And I'm not saying those are bad things. I'm just saying those two impulses aren't especially compatible. And I think she's going to need to figure that out the hard way. And I think she might figure that out the hard way with Jesse Solomon, which is unfortunate.
I think you're right. We love this show because there's a capacity for growth. I remember I interviewed many years ago. People used to ask me, like, who has surprised you? And I interviewed The Situation from Jersey Shore.
Yes.
And when I interviewed him, he was like, I'm totally embarrassed. I was high almost the entire time I filmed. Like, I can't believe I had my brother do my taxes. Like, he went through all these things. And I had such a soft spot in my heart for him. Like, wow, he saw himself. He's moved on from that. He's in a different place. And there's space for the Summer House younger cast members to do that. But then when you look at the Housewives and they're like, you know, 49 years old and they have zero capacity for growth, it's a bummer.
No, absolutely. And I say about our reality stars is that we don't want them to change. We want them to evolve, right? Yeah. And so if you look at someone like Luann, she's still the same Luann that we met, God, almost 20 years ago at this point. But we've seen her change and evolve over time. And I think that the ones who can't evolve, who can't, you know, but we don't want Luann to be a different person. We don't want her to stop, you know, dating, being boy crazy and partying too much and whatever. We like all those things, but we do need there to be some evolution. I think that the ones that get stale and stagnant are the ones that just stay exactly the same, like year after year. And you're like, lady, when are you ever going to learn your lesson?
Let's face it, weight loss can feel overwhelming. That's why Hers is changing the game. By providing access to GLP-1 medications plus expert care, they make your goals more achievable. Hers is transforming women's healthcare by providing access to affordable weight loss treatment plans delivered straight to your door if prescribed. Hers offers a holistic weight loss program with personalized solutions including compounded GLP-1 weekly injections featuring the same active ingredient as Ozempic and Wegovy or oral medication kits. So after submitting an online intake form, a licensed medical provider will determine what plan is best for you. And if prescribed, your program includes medication, ongoing care, and online support, and all at one cost. So if you've been struggling with your weight loss journey, it's time for you to find the best option that works for you through Hers. Start your initial free online visit today at forhers.com/KateCasey. That's FORHERS.com/KateCasey for your personalized weight loss treatment options. forhers.com/KateCasey. Hers weight loss is not available everywhere. Compatible products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions apply. Wegovy and Ozempic are not compounded. Actual price depends on product and plan purchased. Now, we both know that shopping for a rug can be challenging. You've either got insanely expensive handcrafted rugs or the mass-produced alternatives that won't hold up. But that's where Revival Rugs comes in. Revival's founders didn't want to spend thousands on a new rug, but they didn't want to settle for less either. Revival is a global company with teams in the U.S. as well as weaving regions in India, Turkey, and Morocco. Revival works with artisans to preserve rug-making traditions and pass on this value to you. Eliminating middlemen allows them to remove steep markups, giving you amazing value at incredible prices. And Revival's popular washable rugs have the look and feel of a real rug, so you don't have to sacrifice style for convenience. And my favorite, which I ordered, is the sweatshirt rug, and I also love the stripe rug. So spruce up your space with Revival Rugs. Visit revivalrugs.com/realitylife and use code KateCasey20 for 20% off your first order. That's revivalrugs.com/realitylife, code KateCasey20. One more time, revivalrugs.com/realitylife with code KateCasey20 to save 20%.
But I also think there is a fear of them changing because it's the very thing that they're monetizing,
Yes, right.
I'm cuckoo bird crazy in the eyes of all my fans. And once somebody starts saying they have fans, I'm like, oh, you need to take a long look in the mirror and ask yourself where it all went wrong, because that's some scary stuff. But they're like, well, I got a job, like Heather just did an interview with Page Six, and it was like, agree. And she was saying,
which Heather?
Heather McDonald. She said, of all the housewives, it was the ones that were the former actors that always showed up on time and were the most professional, didn't come with a team. And it was the ones who had not worked in the business or hadn't had previous professional careers that were like the hot messes with the late or, show with a big entourage. Yes. And so I think that if you never worked in the business and then all of a sudden you are getting all this attention, why would you want to change? Because there's a fear all of this is going to go away. Bronwyn once said to me, I'm really fearful that the cameras are going to go away. I'm like, what am I going to do? She was waking up in the morning for the cameras to show up. It was like feeding this desire for attention, recognition, feeding that beast. So a lot of them, I think, are like, if I stop being this crazy, then all of this is going to go away. And then what am I going to do tomorrow?
Right. And know what? That is why the ladies of Miami are some of the best we have, because it went away for all of them. Truly. For years. Yeah. And now that it's back, they're like, what do you need?
What do you
because
need?
I will give it to you. What do you need? I am here for it. I will give you whatever you want. We are making this shit happen. Yeah. And I appreciate that. But I remember for my book, I interviewed Linda Erkelishan, who was one of the Real Housewives of DC. This was on one season forever ago. And she still said, I'll do things with my girlfriends and I'll think this would have been great for the show. And it's like, that's what I think is hard about this. And I think that's what we forget is that, Bravo giveth and it taketh away, and it's like that your life will just turn on a dime and it's all gone. And and I think that those are very difficult conditions to live under. But also I remember talking to a producer when I was writing my book, and he said that, when the women first film, they watch their first episode, their second episode, and they're bitching and complaining. Why'd you take this out? How'd you do this to me? Blah, blah, blah. And then they start getting recognized in the supermarket and it's all forgiven.
Yeah.
Then they're just like, it doesn't matter. Like, do what you want. And that's like dark, but relatable, I guess, kind of understandable.
What's even more dark is that some of them even seem to have joy, a small piece of joy when they have haters. Like I feel like Lisa Barlow really enjoys a quip on like social media. Like if somebody
rips into her, she'll take that person down. And she almost takes joy in it.
Yes. No, absolutely. And because all attention is good attention, I think, to some people.
That's crazy.
So, speaking of Lisa Barlow.
Yeah, what do we think?
What do you
Negotiation tactic. She's not going to leave this show.
She is. There's no way she's leaving the show. But I 100% believe she's holding out for more money. But I would also venture to guess that all the OGs have favored nations in their contract. So if she gets $1 million a season, they then have to pay Whitney, Meredith, and Heather $1 million a season or whatever it is. And I don't know that Bravo thinks that that budget is worthwhile.
I don't know if they would pull a Friends, because I think maybe Lisa would do it with Heather, possibly Meredith, but I feel like they all kind of talk to their teams and they're like, well, they might get rid of Whitney or Meredith because they're not bringing enough. But the two of you, Heather and Lisa, like, you have more. So then they would go, well, if we're going to do this, it's most likely to go through if you and I, we join forces, because the other ones aren't valuable enough. And I also know that Lisa hates Whitney. So why would she pull Friends?
Well, no, I think it's already in their contracts that the people who started at the same time get paid the same amount of money.
Ah, got it. Yep.
And because there was also in Melissa and Teresa's contracts that they made the same amount of money.
Interesting.
Also, Lisa Vanderpump and Kyle.
Interesting. Mm.
So
I've had at least 3 people in the last 4 months, I'd say, tell me that Kyle has producing power on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. What do you think about that?
I think she has a soft producing power in that I believe Kyle's producer and the producers on the show she's very close to and like has a friendly relationship with them. So I think Kyle can say, Kyle can point them in the direction she wants to. But I think we've seen enough terrible things from Kyle over the years to know that it's not like the Kardashian level producing power where she has some kind of final say. But I could also see Kyle saying, in her contracts, like, I don't know if you watch RuPaul's Drag Race, but now at the end of the credits, like the first thing is co-executive producer Michelle Visage, in giant letters.
Okay.
Like, I feel like Kyle could be like, I've given you so much, I want XYZ, and they'll give it to her. But I don't think she has any sort of final say or final cut or anything like that.
Yeah.
Would be my guess. That's based on nothing but conjecture.
And Salt Lake is now filming, and we know that OC is filming. And Tamara also posted, like, I'm out, mental health more important. And then it sounds like she resumed filming maybe 24, 48 hours later. What do you know about that?
I mean, girl, how many times have we seen Tamara storm off? That any of us believe this is the real gag, come on.
Well, by the way, can someone do that contractually? Or are they allowed to go, and I'm out? I would find that hard to believe.
Lisa Vanderpump did. There have been several people who have left in the middle of a season.
Would there be some fiduciary penalty if you refuse to film?
I don't think anymore, because after Lisa Vanderpump quit, they moved it to getting paid per episode.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
So it used to be like you get X amount for the season, and now it's you get X amount per episode. And that's why I remember when remember there was a season where she wasn't filming for a while, as a contract negotiation, and they cut her out of the early episodes as like a punishment, because now they'll kind of do a thing like if you can't go on a trip, and you're in good faith with Bravo, they'll show you at home so you're in the episode, so you get paid.
How do you think they also punish someone who gets a little bit too comfortable, if you will?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't know. I would guess that it's if you don't bring it, you're getting fired. And like we said, they're also into being on the show. They're
terrified. But are there any like micro things you could do? Like, we're going to show you under bad lighting, or like, you know what I mean? Like little things where they're
I
like,
would love that. Yes.
Girl,
we
like
are
collectively,
not
yes.
retouching your confessionals.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Bad angle. Yeah. Or we're not going to show your product, or we're going to show that your house is actually a messy, or I don't know, the little things. What do you think they do to like combat someone's attitude? Like, all right, well, you want to mess with us? We'll show you.
No, I think that's when you see them get a quote unquote bad at it is when you start, when it's the like, 45 minutes late, 57 minutes late, an hour and 3 minutes late. You know what I mean? They start to roll out, or like, I don't think they did this because John Barlow's mean, but when they showed John Barlow not being able to parallel park, it's like, that's the shit you're going to get if you're not playing ball.
Or you know what else it could be? Using the footage when they're in the glam chair.
Yes.
Right. with the gold eye badges on, and like the angle and going all the way around, because they probably film all the time, but they're, we're not going to include this because this is just fluff. But then you mess with them and they're like, roll that bean footage.
Well, yeah. Let's bring that out, sister.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, and I think that's all, oh my God, all that shit is brilliant. The things we put these women through for our entertainment, I tell you.
I know.
A lot.
I also want to ask you about Paige and Craig, because we're both watching the story of their relationship play out on different shows from different narratives. I'm still like, how these two ever date?
No, absolutely. And I love the honesty of both of them. Paige being like, I'm so much busier now. I can't travel like I used to. I want different things. And I think that's refreshing to see. And I think it's refreshing to see a woman as empowered as Paige saying, I don't want this anymore. I want something else. And that is absolutely her prerogative. And I think a lot of times women get into these relationships and they want to keep that man. And so they do what they need to keep that man when it's against their best interests. And I'm glad Paige is not doing that, because let's be honest, Craig is a liar who lives in a pokey town who only learned how to dress 2 years ago. Like, Paige could do a lot better than Craig, who is hot. Don't get me wrong.
He's very attractive. He's very, So maybe in some moments she's like, well, there's that. Also, I just couldn't picture her 5 years from now in that backyard, and he's just walking around with a tinfoil hat on and like pointing at the sky, and his conspiracies and all of it. Like, I can't see it. But maybe you're right. Maybe it was how hot he was. But by the way, watch what Crappens pointed out the moment they believe that it came crystal clear for Paige to end that relationship. It was him sitting on the counter picking at his feet.
And you saw in the last episode of Southern Charm where she's like, all I do is sit around here and eat. And he's like, what's so bad about that? And Paige is like, I'm bored.
Yeah.
Like, in your backyard. I also feel like, I have no data on this. I feel like Craig lives far from everybody.
You're right.
Part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
I bet Craig is like a 45-minute drive from everybody. He has that big house in a gated community, whatever. But everyone else lives downtown where all the bars are. And they're like, Craig, I don't want to drive 45 minutes to your house and then 45 minutes back when you could just come fucking downtown and hang out with everybody.
So what you're basically saying is she's living in this beautiful penthouse in New York City. It's all white. It's a dream for me. It's very, very Kardashian. I'm fully into it. She has the world at her front door, right?
Yeah.
Lots of cool friends. She's in the mix. She's traveling city to city. She's in charge of her own future. And then she takes the plane to Charleston, and she gets off the plane and drives 45 minutes away and pulls up to the house. And he's like, let's go make honey with the beekeeper. Yeah. And she's like, I got to get the hell out of here.
Right. And she's sitting in the suburbs and she's like, why am I here? He's not that hot.
You know what I would like? I would like to hear the conversation she has in the car when she's like, I'm just going to run the store and get some, some Cheez-Its. And then listen to her calling Hannah or her mom, like, because that's what women do. We call
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm sure gay men do too. You call someone, you're like, I have to get the hell out of here.
Girl, where am I? Yeah. Well, and I've been thinking about this from all season is when was the moment where Paige called Hannah and goes, wait, am I actually into Craig? And like,
that'd be fun
nobody
too.
was like, girl, don't be into Craig. You know,
Yeah.
like there had to be a moment where she was like, am I going to do this? And decided to do it. And I don't see where that moment was.
Yeah. I love the look of luxury, but knowing that I got it at a great price. And I feel like you're like me too. And that's why I know you're going to love Quince. Quince is my go-to for luxury essentials at affordable prices. I get DMs all the time. Where did you get that sweater? I'm telling you, I got it at Quince. You know why? They offer high quality items at prices within reach. And the best part, all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. So they do this by partnering directly with top factories. So Quince cuts the cost of the middleman and then passes the savings on to us. And the best part, it only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. And who doesn't love that? In fact, the thing you need to get right now are the toasted almond silk pajamas. It's a beautiful gift for someone in your life or just for yourself. So give yourself the luxury you deserve with Quince. Go to quince.com/KKC for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/KKC to get your free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/KateCasey. You know that feeling when your kids seem to ask you for a new snack every 3 minutes, but you're sick of giving them junk-filled options? This is why I love Thrive Market, my go-to online grocery store for getting all of my healthy essentials delivered, and I don't even have to leave my couch. And I don't know about you, but I want to be able to pronounce the ingredients on my kids' snack labels. There are over 10,000 food additives allowed in the US, and it's hard to know what's actually safe to eat. Again, another reason why I love Thrive Market. It's the no junk online grocery store that bans over 1,000 harmful ingredients. So like imagine this. My kids love Doritos. Now I can get them Late July Garden Ranch tortilla chips, and it is a dream. And guess what? I'm just tipping the iceberg here. There is so much more. With their online filters, it's going to make it simple to shop by the needs of everyone in your family. And trust me, I get it. We all have things that we love to eat. So get ready to make the switch. Go to thrivemarket.com/KateCasey for 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/KateCasey, thrivemarket.com/KateCasey. I want to be a fly on the wall, all the conversations, or to see the text messages. Because maybe she's going into the bathroom. She's like, you're never going to believe what I just overheard Austin and Craig talk about.
The thing about all of this breakup is I feel like post-Scandival, we want to make every one of these breakups into a thing.
You're right.
Like he did something wrong. She did something wrong. You lied about this. You lied about that, blah, blah, blah. We all know this is a bullet dodged, just like Carl and Lindsay.
Absolutely.
Bullet dodged. And like, let's
good
just
for you
be
for getting
grateful.
out.
Like,
yep. You didn't get married. All's fine. No one got harmed in the process. We're good.
And I think we're in the same territory here with this one. Yeah. That said, I would date Craig in a heartbeat. No, I'm just kidding.
Kyle and Amanda, do you think that they're all fine now? Or do you still... They're not really like talking about their relationship that much anymore.
No. Call me crazy, but I think Kyle and Amanda are in it for the long haul.
Yeah, maybe they're fine. He's like a DJ now, and she's got a bikini line. But I feel like they don't talk about the bikini line at all either.
No, but I feel like hopefully we're going to see it a little bit more over the course of the season.
Yeah, you know what, maybe. Yeah.
Amanda designs the merch for Loverboy, and it is exceptional. So
there you go.
I can only imagine the bikini line is going to be great. And I actually saw a guy, where was I? Maybe I was in Los Angeles, and he had on a Loverboy shirt. And I was like, oh, are you a Summer House fan? He's like, what's that? And I was like, oh, that's where it's from. And he was like, no, I just like the shirt
just
or
like
whatever.
the shirt.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, girl, you better work, Amanda.
Can you be a girl wearing a Loverboy sweatshirt? Like if I wore a Loverboy sweatshirt, people would be like, that doesn't make any sense. What are you doing?
No, I think it'd be cute. I have 2 Loverboy sweatshirts that I wear frequently.
He should be selling white tank tops. That's what he should be selling.
Oh, girl. I mean, I would wear a shirt with Kyle Cook's face on it. I'd wear undies with Kyle Cook's face on it too.
I know you would. Southern Charm, the other people that are kind of attached to the show. Do we care about Vanita and JT? Do we care about Sally? Do we care about Matt? Like, how are you feeling about the other people on the show?
The show this season has been so weird because I do care about Craig, Austin, Shep, Madison, and Whitney, like the old guys. Like Whitney doesn't really do much except be around and be drunk, which is fine. But then all of these, like Sally, dud. Taylor, dud. Can't believe she's back. Gaston won't film. Why are you here? Leva is our only reality personality allowed to work from home full time. Like she won't even show up to film. So I just don't get what they're bringing. Molly, as a character, I love. She seems really fun, really relatable, really pretty, really cool, but she has nothing to do.
Well, I interviewed her and then someone told me she had a boyfriend the whole time. I really got to circle back and ask her about that.
Yeah, that seems weird. And this whole thing with pushing on Shep seems weird.
Yeah.
But I do think that they have done JT dirty a bit.
They're gunning for him.
Yeah. And I mean, he's not likable. And I don't want him back. But we all know that Craig is a liar and that he didn't call Miss Pat a bitch. And that nobody will say that or that no one will believe that is annoying. And then this whole game of telephone with Vanita and what he may or may not have said about Vanita, like third hand, is another just kind of like bad swipe. And I just think that he does himself no favors by being so dweeby and unlikable that, but I am glad he did show up to the reunion. He said he was done with the show and he's going to skip because I am curious how everyone is going to react now that we've seen the whole season. We saw he didn't say some of the things that Craig accused him of saying, etc. And, I don't know that JT needs to clear his name necessarily, but I do want everybody to take a little bit more responsibility for what they may or may not have said about him. What do you think about all these tertiary peoples?
I don't think there's enough there, but
No.
A birdie told me that they've been casting or looking into casting for next season, and they're tremendous options. So I'm hopeful. I think next season will be great.
But I feel like, why haven't we seen these options? That's the thing is Charleston's a small town.
Because a lot of people have moved there. I think a lot of people are charmed by the idea of living in a city like Charleston. So it's probably bringing in new people.
I feel like they've been making the same mistake on Southern Charm that they made on Summer House for many seasons, which is they thought they needed to get the girls right. And that we keep seeing lots of new girls added to the cast. And what I think Summer House cracked is they needed the right guys. And you suddenly bring Jesse and Weston and the whole show is transformed and is better. And so maybe that's what we need on Southern Charm. I guess they tried it with JT and it was a failure. So maybe they just need some better guys or some guys that Shep and Craig and Austin actually hang out with, maybe?
Also, maybe Craig and Austin feel competitive. Like you bring in some younger versions of them, 28 years old, like killing the social game. And then it's a battle of like who can bro out more.
Right. Like if they brought in Joe Bradley, which I don't think they should do from Southern Hospitality, but then it's suddenly like, oh, now we have to compete with Joe Bradley. But I think the other thing that's hard on these shows is, you see it on Housewives, but more on these shows that focus on the younger people is you have your veterans start aging and you're casting these like 20-somethings. So then you end up with a show like Summer House where there's pregnant Lindsay, 40-something-year-old Kyle, sober, almost 40-year-old Carl. And then you have 26-year-old Lexi, you know,
who's doing
it's
shots
not,
with her parents. Yeah.
Right. It's a weird mismatch. So, you know, I see where the difficulty is for Bravo and the production companies that make these shows, but it's all down to casting. So hopefully we'll get some good new people in next time. And I've never been to Charleston. Should we take a trip? Should we have a girls trip?
I would love to do. We should do that. Can we arrange that? Leva.
I mean,
she can like take us on a tour of all the restaurants and right?
Exactly. We'll get a table at Republique. I mean, we'll pretend like it's your bachelorette party.
Yeah,
it'll be great.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get a stripper.
Can I pull that off at this? Yeah, right. Is Bolo available?
Oh, call Bolo. Girl, we can write this whole thing off on our taxes. Shit. It's like Bravo, Liberty, Bar Crawl in Charleston.
Is there anybody else we want to invite? Sonia? Does she come too?
Oh my God. Sonia would be a fun time.
Yeah.
I mean, who would you want to bring?
We need to make up like a fake thing that we're celebrating.
Yeah.
You know, like
no, I want to invite Wendy and Eddie Osefo just so he will bring some Happy Eddie products to our.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, you know that's who I'm. No, I'm gonna say, for many years I was like, fire Wendy. What is she doing here? She's so corny. She's so boring. Whatever. I have done a complete 180. I might even be, after the season, a Wendy fan.
Well, I think it took her a couple of years to like really move into the space she wanted to, because I think she was in a job, in a life that she thought her mom wanted for her. And now she's probably like, this is exactly who I am and where I want to be. But you know, I would like to invite some of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, the new cast members, because I find them absolutely hilarious.
Yes, now that I'm getting to know them, I am ready to hang out with some of them. Girl, that Charles Oakley looks good.
Yeah, he does.
I'm like, Angela,
I know.
we need to talk about your man.
So we have to think about what our fake thing is that we're celebrating. Like,
I mean,
you know what? We can tell everybody that the Real Housewives Institute is gone, like it's going IPO.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
I've sold the Real Housewives Institute for $75 to some woman who lives in Oregon.
Yes.
Congratulations.
And that's the celebration. Do you think other people will not come? Do you think we could get other people to be like?
We could probably get a dozen.
I would hope so. Yeah, maybe 3 or 4, maybe.
You know? We went to, this is not to brag, but Christian and I last weekend, we went to this house in Sussex, which is like 2 hours out in the country from London. And it's like a little country house. It was owned by Virginia Woolf's sister, Vanessa Bell, who's a painter. And she like painted the whole house. It's like this gorgeous little English fantasy, whatever. And so we were there like for a little day trip, and we were in the gift shop, and someone was like, "Are you Brian Moylan?" And I was like, "Hi." And I was like, "Girl, I'm famous. Even in the English countryside, they're coming for me shit." I know. Well, and then also, I already told you this on email, but I'm going to tell your listeners, I went to see Countess Luann here in London, sold out. People were losing their minds for her. And we're at the bar at intermission. And we're just kind of standing there. And my husband asked me a question. And then I answered him. And this girl turns around and goes, "Oh my God, Brian Moylan. I would know that voice anywhere from all the times you're on Kate Casey." And I was like, well, it's nice to have fans, isn't it?
Wow. God, that makes my heart full.
What I'm saying is that's 2 tickets we've sold to our Charleston bar crawl.
Okay, good. Yeah.
We just need 10 more. And
so if you want to participate in the IPO celebration of the non-existent Real Housewives Institute, please let us know and we will do some sort of arrangement. And the good people of Charleston and their tourism board can hopefully partner up with us and we can come up with some real fun thing.
Yeah. I mean, what else does Austin have to do? He'll come and have a drink with us.
Absolutely.
I mean, we could definitely get TJ.
Yeah. I want to get some
Southern
answers.
Hospitality.
And I want to get some answers from Craig. I feel like he'll come and we're like, just like give us the lowdown. Like what's really happening? I think he'll tell us, right?
Craig, we want to know. Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Craig,
will he make us a pillow with the Real Housewives Institute? He could make one for us.
I mean, we have a logo. I will send it to Craig.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
I'm glad we figured this all out. What a productive day.
Done. Okay, well, tell everybody what you have going on and where they can find you.
I am currently recapping on vulture.com, Beverly Hills, Summer House, Southern Charm, and Survivor of all things. And so those go up right after the episodes air on the East Coast. So go check it out. And then you can sign up for my Housewives Institute Bulletin, which is a free newsletter. It comes out every 2 weeks on Friday. And you can sign up for that at vulture.com/housewives. And yeah, other than that, I'm just here chatting with you, KKC, watching our shows.
Well, thank you so much.
The amazing Kate Casey.
I want to thank my great guest, Brian Moylan, and remind you to click subscribe. Please leave a 5-star review. Join the Facebook group Reality Life with Kate Casey. You can get my what to watch list by going to katecasey.substack.com. And also extra episodes. I just did one with Amy Phillips. You've got to listen to it, where we really dissect Summer House. So make sure that you check that out. And also check me out on social media. I'm on Instagram at KKCCA, TikTok, it's KKC, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky at KKC. And check back tomorrow for an all new episode.
In the 1950s, America was glued to its television screens, watching contestants battle it out for big money on quiz shows like 21 and the $64,000 Question. But behind the scenes, producers were feeding answers to the most popular contestants to keep audiences hooked. Hi, I'm Lindsey Graham, the host of Wondery's show American Scandal. We bring to life some of the biggest controversies in U.S. history: presidential lies, environmental disasters, corporate fraud. In our latest series, quiz shows dominate 1950s TV until a disgruntled contestant blows the whistle and reveals that the shows are rigged. Follow American Scandal on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. Experience all episodes ad-free and be the first to binge the newest season only on Wondery Plus. You can join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. Start your free trial today.